Oh, we're recording now, apparently. There we go. Well, you know what? If it's going to record before I necessarily wanted it to, we're just going to start. This is the Daily Freakout Weekend Edition. But you already know that because the title of the video probably says that. And I'm not completely unprepared, but quite unprepared. Still trying to put things together here. I've raised the TV up since yesterday, as we can see. And that's going to trigger me to talk about... I don't want the volume on that, though, so... That's a shame. Turn that... Oh, no, wait. I don't turn it down there anymore. I turn it down here. There we go. Yesterday I was doing some mulching at home where I took some garden waste that a tree that I'd chopped down at someone's house, and I was mulching it. And I tried to put far too big a piece into the mulcher, and it got stuck. Not in the mechanics of the mulcher, but in the chute or the funnel, whatever you want to call it, to go to the mechanics part. And I was like, oh, I've got spanners somewhere. I'll open it up. That's fine. So I went and I found a set of spanners that I bought years ago and had not used. And so I used these spanners. And it got me thinking that even though I'm not a hoarder, I definitely don't like throwing things out. Because part of me is like, well, one day I'll use them. For instance, right here, if I lean over, I've got a pair of old earmuffs from gardening work. And they stopped working at some point. Partly because I think, or even though that wire, all the wires there, wait, where is it there? They all seem to be connected. But I know the button was a bit... Anyway, they stopped working at one point. They still muffle things, but they've got Bluetooth is what I'm trying to say. They've got Bluetooth and music. And they've also got a 3.5mm jack there. And they stopped working, and I've still got them just in case I can fix them at some point. And anyway, these spanners worked. It was fantastic. The reason why I'm saying that is because the thing that the TV is sitting on, just there, 22 years ago, almost 25 years ago, had a guitar amp, and I pulled it apart and wasn't able to put it back together again because I'm an idiot. Because I wanted to put it into a head as opposed to a combo. Stupid mistake. Shouldn't have done it. Idiot. Absolute idiot. I still feel guilt and remorse because of it. And I built the cabinet, or the box that it was going to go in, which was that. And for some strange reason, it has been over a decade where I've said to myself, I'm going to buy an amp to put in that box. I will eventually do it. Never have. But now, it almost perfectly allows for the TV to sit on top of it at the right height for this shot. For this one position that I have the camera. So, I don't know. There's something in there about how you shouldn't necessarily throw things out. What's that? I cannot think of that phrase. Tell me in the comments. The phrase that I'm thinking of. Not beggars can't be choosers. Waste not, want not. That's what it was. Waste not, want not. Don't throw anything out. Keep it all. Just keep it all. But I have way too much stuff these days. I need to get rid of a lot of stuff. So maybe you should throw things out. Maybe we should be a bit better and a bit more efficient with our thingies. Today's background video, if you're at all interested, is from 4K Video Ultra HD on YouTube. The coolest Dolby Vision 4K video with relaxing music. 4K HDR 120 FPS. If you're at all interested. It's out of focus because obviously I am the focus. But you can see there's some pretty cool footage in there. It looks It really reminds me of a series of movie called that started with Keanu Squatzy from back in the day, and it's back when YouTube wasn't a thing. There it is. Oh wow, I spelt that not even remotely close. Oh wow, the whole thing is on. We're going to swap it over. See, there we go. It's backwards in the camera that I'm looking at. I don't know what you're looking at. It's from 1982 is Keanu Squatzy, or however you pronounce it. And it was before YouTube and all that kind of stuff existed. And so it's a lot of amazing footage where you sort of feel like nothing's going on, but stuff does happen, and it slowly happens, and the soundtrack's amazing. Let's see if we can hear a little bit of that kind of soundtrack, where it's just very slow tones and stuff like that. I believe it was a somewhat groundbreaking piece. If you go to Omni Conteudos, Conteudos, and you spell Keanu Squatzy, if you didn't see it on the thing there, Koyanisqatsi. I'm going to turn that down just so that we don't get into trouble. But it's amazing footage of all sorts of different somewhat random things, and it's just very landscapey. There's no storyline or anything like that, and it's just one of a great. There's actually 3 of them, and they're a great series of films that you should watch. And this kind of stuff, this background with nice music. What's the relaxing music on this one? See, it's exactly the same. It is effectively exactly the same, just now with even more consumer grade drones and quality of camera and all that kind of stuff. As I think I said yesterday, it's amazing the technology that we have these days, where you could very easily, with not that much money, film a Keanu Squatzy yourself and put it out there. I've got some weird art YouTube ideas similar to Ambient Improvisation #1 Ukulele that I want to do, that are very similar and very inspired by this kind of slow landscape ambient cinema, for want of a better word. I forced myself to get this one done today because I realised that I have to just keep doing it. So I don't think this is going to be the most impressive, so I apologise straight away. As I think I said yesterday, I'm a bit of a pessimist about myself, and so I'm apologising even though you shouldn't apologise and all that kind of stuff. The exciting thing for me is that if you're watching this somewhere and seeing the visual, you can actually go to iTunes now and listen to this. Hopefully, tomorrow, Monday, the Daily Freakout headlines will happen, as always. That will also be able to be listened to for a minute on the iTunes feed. And hopefully we will have the Daily Freakout happening tomorrow as well, the regular show that I've been planning and looking into and trying to just get happening, which will be available on iTunes as well. Because what this world needs is yet another white man talking directly to camera with a microphone covering a majority of his face. And my bad teeth. Should give them a brush. They're a bit dark. Are teeth meant to be white? Here's a good one for you. I was thinking the other day about how I used to listen to Joe Rogan and how some of Joe Rogan's guests did influence me. One of them in particular was a lady called Katie Bowman, who was a biomechanist, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember exactly how I think. And she talked about how if you put a cast on your arm and you don't use it for a month, it gets smaller and the muscles atrophy, something like that. And we don't, if you don't use it, you lose it effectively. You don't have the muscle there, etc., etc. And then you have to rehab it afterwards and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. And she applied that to life in general, in that if you're always sitting in a chair like I am now, or driving a car, or having aircon, or all this kind of stuff, you lose a certain amount of physical ability, etc., etc. And there's a big movement these days about talking about and working on how the best way to stay active in old age is to be active. Simply be active. And so from a much younger age, people are being recommended, hey, if you want to be physically healthy and capable in your 70s and 80s, in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you need to be physically active and working your body and using your body. The most active people in their older age are the ones that were active to start with. And that makes a whole lot of sense, in my opinion. And so that kind of thing from Joe Rogan's show really inspired, or not inspired, but made me want to be more active like that, even though I'm not. I'm definitely not living up to that idea of simple things like, instead of sitting on a couch, sit on the floor, because then you have to get up and down off the floor, and you have to stretch, and you have to move, and you have to rework and stuff like that. And so you keep using your body and that kind of thing. And I've completely forgotten how I got onto that. What was I talking about just before that? This is amazing. I need show notes. I need to write down show notes, and I need to live stream it so that someone can remind me in the chat and in the comments, because I can't remember exactly what I was talking about just then. That's absolutely terrible. Anyway, I'm going to quickly jump across, and we're going to do a bit of music to go in the middle of the show, because that's what I'm hoping to do with the daily Freakout tomorrow. This is a gentleman called Alex Melton, and a year ago he posted, "If Jump by Van Halen was written for millennials, acoustic alternative pop indie rock cover." So you can see him playing all the instruments there. Go check him out, Alex Melton on YouTube. Somebody commented, unintentionally the best John Mayer song ever recorded. And it's really cool. I love, one of the things that YouTube has given us is covers. And I really like the way that we can do these kind of covers these days, where people go, hey, what if this was this? I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. And we get that exposure to alternative versions of music. And so this Alex Melton guy has exposed us to a variety of things here. Not only his style of acoustic indie pop, but showing us that music is sounds like a bit of a crock when you say it's universal, but it's music can be any style. The style is not always relevant. Sometimes the style is the artist, not the song. The song can be anything, but the artist happens to be polka or whatever. Anyway, so touching back to the Daily Freakout, I love that I can remember the first time I thought of the Daily Freakout and wanting to do the Daily Freakout, and I was living in a house when I was in my mid to late 20s, late mid 20s, so like 26, 27 kind of time. I'm now 42. That's a long time ago. That's what, 20 years almost. Yeah, just the 15 years. And I still am trying to get some version of this happening. And it's amazing that self-confidence and other ideas and other things in your life can really take you away from what you were thinking, or what you were planning and hoping and wanting to do. So be like Alex here. And if you've got the idea of what if Jump was written for millennials, make it happen. go out and do it. That's what I say. Of course, some people might not want it. Some people might not want to see it, and that's absolutely fair enough. You just have to live with that, don't you? Anyway, what is going on in the world? I'm amazed at... it's very hard to... It's hard to ignore the United States at the moment, and it's hard to not talk about them, but I really don't want to. There's so much coverage. You know what's going on. Trump's a pedo, Epstein list, fascist dictator, all this kind of stuff, and then you've got celebrities like Chris Pratt going, oh, Donald Trump does really good things, why would you hate him? And as someone who is strongly anti-religion and believes that all religions are cults and that all religions are problematic. There is no... Even though some religions absolutely do good, I always say that the Sikhs... I've never heard a negative thing about the Sikhs. All I ever hear about them is that they're out giving people free food, and that part of their religion is to make food and give free food to people. So I'm like, okay, I've got time for the Sikhs. Sikhs I can happily live with Sikhs, no problem. But when I see so many people at their absolute lowest and most depressed and unhappy falling into religion, it's like, well, wait a second, why is it that Jesus always shows himself to people when they're at their lowest? Is it because that we're susceptible when we're susceptible to influence and to all these things when we're at our lowest? I think it is. I think that when we're at our lowest, we are at our most likely to desperately cling to anything. Like when someone's drowning, you just grab and you grab and you grab and you just, whatever you can grab onto, you grab onto. Some people grab onto another person and push that person down. Some people grab onto a flotation life saving device, and are able to be saved. Some people grab onto that safety device and it's got a rope on it, and they get pulled up and they get pulled onto a ship full of pirates who then use them as a slave. You know what I mean? So religion seems to be just taking over, and I've done it again where I've gone off on a tangent and I've completely lost myself. This is why I need a co-host. If anyone would like to co-host, I've just gone into a religion bashing moment instead of an actual point of what I was talking about. But the religious side of things, I said Chris Pratt, didn't I? He's a bit of a religious person, even though he claims not to be. He once carried a massive cross up a hill to be like Jesus, but he says he's not religious. All these religions are cults. All these religions are problems. They all are based on lies and not on truth and reality. They all claim things that are either unprovable or are just obviously false. They've done good. As I said, the Sikhs have done good. Some Christians do really good things. Mother Teresa was not a saint. She was a terrible person. The Catholic Church is still the largest organized pedophile ring internationally ever. It's a strange world we live in, and you look at the United States in particular. Like, it worries me that here in Australia we have a Catholic Prime Minister. But this Catholic Prime Minister seems to believe that the job of a Prime Minister is predominantly to serve the people. So that's kind of good. I don't mind that. I don't like that he went to the Pope's inauguration, or if that's the right word. But he does seem to be doing and saying mostly things where he's trying to be positive for the people of Australia instead of just either his religion or his thing. Scott Morrison was a religious person, and he was an absolute douchebag. Tony Abbott, the same kind of thing. I really look forward to one day having an actual atheist prime minister, or even in America, a president who is genuinely just like, hey, I'm here to serve the people. I want to actually make good for the people of the country. And to me, the people of the country is the middle class. To me, the President of the United States should be focusing on supporting and benefiting the middle class. The more people you can put into the middle class, the better a country's going to be. You bring people up from the lower classes to get them to the middle, and you bring people down from the upper classes to be in the middle. We do not need multi-million-dollar jets and mansions in this world. Some people can have them if they've succeeded for some strange reason, fine. But business owners that make money off the labor of their staff and their employees, you shouldn't be making that much money. It's pretty simple. I've often thought about how absurd it is that someone like Paul McCartney has billions of dollars. And then I go, well, wait a second. When has Paul, apart from some people that claimed that were in Wings that claimed that he didn't pay well, when has Paul McCartney ever ripped anyone off? He's never forced you to buy his records. He's always put on a show. His tickets might be ridiculously expensive, but everyone says, great show. He puts on a good show. He makes music that people love. That should be the kind of person who is successful in our world. Not the kind of person that owns Amazon and doesn't allow toilet breaks. But anyway, that's me going on a rant because I don't have anything specific to talk about this episode. So, I'm going to call it at that. Thank you very much if you've made it this far. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Tell me what I've done right. Tell me what I've done wrong. I think you'll agree with me that I need to have a better understanding of what I'm going to talk about and what the show's going to be. But these are still just sort of test episodes to get things happening, to make sure recording things work, to make sure microphones work, uploading, all that kind of stuff. So, thank you very much for tuning in to the weekend edition of the Daily Freakout. Tomorrow, we'll see what happens. The headlines will probably happen. Maybe there'll be a podcast in your feed. And we'll see how it goes. This is the Daily Freakout. My name's Gavin, or Bobby, whatever you want to call me. And I appreciate you. Thank you very much.